If you're touring homes this spring in Snohomish County or King County, there's one mistake I see buyers make over and over again. They fall in love with how a home feels instead of evaluating how that home actually performs. And in a competitive spring market, that mistake can lead to overpaying, missing serious issues, or choosing a home that doesn't truly fit your lifestyle long term. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what to look for during spring home showings so you can make a confident, informed decision and avoid the common pitfalls most buyers don't even realize they're making. Hi, I'm Marie-Noelle. I work with buyers across Snohomish County and King County. Spring is one of the most active times in the real estate market. Inventory starts to increase, more buyers enter the market, and homes tend to show at their absolute best. But that's exactly why you need to be more intentional when you walk into a showing, because what you're seeing is often the most polished version of that home, and your job as a buyer is to look beyond that. Let's start with staging because this is where emotions usually take over. In the spring market, homes are designed to feel inviting the moment you walk in. You'll see fresh flowers, clean lines, bright spaces, and a layout that feels open and easy. Everything is meant to help you picture yourself living there, and that's powerful. But here's the reality. Staging is marketing. It's there to highlight the home's strengths and minimize its weaknesses. So instead of focusing on the furniture, the colors, or how the space is styled, you want to shift your focus to the things that don't change. Pay attention to the bones of the home. Look at the floors. Do they feel even when you walk across them? Check the walls and ceilings. Do you notice any cracks, discoloration, or signs of past repairs? Think about what's behind the walls too. How old is the roof? When was the plumbing last updated? What about the electrical system or the heating? These are the things that actually impact your experience as a homeowner because once the furniture is gone and the decorations are removed, what you're left with is the structure, the layout, and the condition of the home. And that's what you're really buying. Now let's talk about natural light and orientation because this is something that can completely change how a home feels day to day. Spring is one of the best times to evaluate this because the days are longer and the light is more consistent. As you walk through a home, notice how the light enters each room. Are the main living spaces bright without needing to turn on lights? Where are the windows placed? Think about which direction the home is facing. A south-facing home will typically get steady natural light throughout the day, which can make a big difference, especially in the Pacific Northwest where winters can feel long and gray. A west-facing home might give you beautiful sunsets, but it can also bring strong afternoon heat and glare. An east-facing home will give you bright mornings, but may feel darker later in the day. And this is where you want to think beyond the showing. Ask yourself what this home will feel like in November or December. Will it still feel open and bright, or will it feel darker and more enclosed? Natural light isn't just about aesthetics, it affects your mood, your energy, and how much you enjoy being in your space. Next, let's move outside because spring is actually the best time to evaluate how a home handles water. And this is one of the most important things you can look at. Take a few extra minutes to really observe the exterior. Look at the roof. Does it appear to be in good condition? Check the gutters and downspouts. Are they directing water away from the home? Look at the siding. Do you see any warping, staining, or areas that might need maintenance? Then look at the ground around the home. Does the soil slope away from the foundation, or does it look flat or even slope toward the house? Do you see any standing water in the yard or near the structure? Water is one of the biggest causes of long-term damage in a home. Poor drainage can lead to foundation issues, mold, and costly repairs. And spring gives you a real-time look at how the property performs under those conditions. If something doesn't look right, it's worth asking questions and potentially investigating further during inspection. Spring also reveals seasonal issues that you might not notice at other times of the year. This includes things like moisture in basements, minor leaks, or areas where water may be entering the home. As you walk through, slow down and pay attention to details. Open cabinets under sinks and check for any signs of moisture or odor. Look at ceilings and corners of rooms for discoloration. If there's a basement, notice how it feels. Does it feel dry and well ventilated or slightly damp? Even small details can give you important clues. And if something feels off, trust that instinct and ask about it. Now let's shift to something many buyers don't think about enough during showings, and that's the neighborhood itself. Spring is one of the best times to evaluate what's happening around the home. You're more likely to see neighbors outside, kids playing, people walking, and general activity in the area. Pay attention to traffic. Is the street quiet, or do you notice a steady flow of cars? Listen for noise. Are there nearby roads, schools, or other sources of sound that could impact your daily life? Look at how neighboring homes are maintained. Do they appear well cared for, or are there signs of neglect? All of these things contribute to your overall living experience, because when you buy a home, you're not just buying the property, you're buying into the environment that surrounds it. Now let's talk about functionality, because this is where long-term satisfaction really comes from. A home can look beautiful, but if it doesn't function well for your lifestyle, it's going to create frustration over time. Think about how you actually live day to day. Do you need a home office? Do you entertain often? Do you need storage for hobbies, equipment, or growing needs? Walk through the home and imagine your daily routine. Does the kitchen layout make sense for how you cook? Is there enough storage space? Does the flow between rooms feel natural, or does it feel awkward? Think about privacy as well. Are the bedrooms positioned in a way that makes sense? Is there separation between living areas and sleeping areas? And then think long term. Will this home still work for you in a few years? Because while cosmetic updates are relatively easy to make, changing the layout of a home is much more complex and expensive. As you continue touring homes, especially in a competitive spring market, it's important to stay grounded in value. You'll likely see multiple homes that you like, and it's easy to start comparing them emotionally. But what you want to do instead is compare them strategically. Look at homes within the same price range across Snohomish County and King County. What does each home offer in terms of condition, location, size, and features? Is one home priced higher because of upgrades? Is another price lower because it needs work? Understanding these differences helps you make a more informed decision and prevents you from overpaying in a competitive situation. The goal isn't just to find a home you love, it's to make sure that home also makes sense financially and strategically. And this is where having the right guidance really makes a difference, because touring homes is just one part of the process. Knowing what to look for, how to evaluate what you're seeing, and how to compare properties, that's what gives you an advantage. When I work with buyers, I guide them through each step of this process. During showings, I help point out things that are easy to miss. I provide context on the market so you understand how each home compares. And when it's time to make an offer, I help you build a strategy that aligns with your goals while staying competitive. Everything is done with a focus on transparency, ethics, and making sure you feel confident in your decision. Because at the end of the day, buying a home is one of the most important investments you'll make, and you deserve to feel certain about it. If you're planning to tour homes this spring in Snohomish County or King County, or if you've already started and want a more strategic approach, I'd be happy to help. Feel free to reach out, and we can make sure you're evaluating every home with clarity, confidence, and the right perspective.